What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to Bleacher Report. I've got another Bleacher Report article for you guys today because you know what? The regular season is over at the time you guys are watching this. The play-in has actually already happened. I'm recording this on Monday the 14th, as you can see by the fact that I'm dressed up a little bit and I'm kind of packing over here. I've got another little business trip that I've got to take, so I'm trying to make sure you guys have content to watch throughout the week. But anyway, the regular season is over. Most of you guys have asked for a grading of every single NBA team and how their regular season went, and Bleacher Report put out an article about it, so I'm curious to hear what they said about it. But hey, before we get into that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment to my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. I clearly have a lot to go respond to right now, but seriously, go give my Do They Fit in the NBA videos a watch. They're my favorite ones to do on the channel. They almost always get demonetized, unrightfully so, but it happens. I've got some playoff predictions for you guys to watch as well. That one was a lot of fun, but anyway, let's go talk about grades. I feel like just rationally, if somebody puts out an article grading anything, whether it's like the draft or free agency or your regular season, like I feel like us sports fans are just going to gravitate towards it, and we have to read it because we have to see what other people said about our team. So I don't know, I think that that's the fun of the grades. Do these really matter that much? And whatever I give for a grade at the end, that's kind of up to me, I guess. I'm guessing this is based off of like expectations of the year. Please remember this exercise evaluating each team squad's performance from opening night through the regular season finale. Previous grades will be provided to showcase progressions. Blah 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 blah. Yep, it's based off expectations. So basically, the Wizards don't get an F because they were bad. We expected them to be bad. Did they do what they were supposed to do this season? Well, then I guess we'll determine, right? But regardless, let's jump into it. You guys know how this works. Atlanta Hawks C+. I already agree with this grade completely. And here's why. If C is like an average, this team did a little bit above average what I would have expected for them this season. I kind of figured they'd be a play-in type spot team. They got a good player in Trae Young. We liked Jalen Johnson a lot. Can't wait for him to get back and healthy. A big thing this year was going to be his Ricochet. Going to be a guy for them, and we've kind of seen towards the back half of the season, like, yeah, no, he's looking like he's going to be a nice contributor to this team. He basically followed the progression that we expected of him this year. I really feel like I nailed this draft class. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I like nailed it on the head in a lot of ways. So that's kind of cool. But this was also a little bit easier of a draft class to evaluate. Looks like you're moving on from a Clint Capella. Is Okongwu going to be the guy of the future? I don't know. The reason it's not higher is this team still lacks a lot of direction. I feel like if you were to ask a lot of Hawks fans at this point, they would come in and tell you, like, honestly, like, let's kind of keep rolling with this group. Let's just see what happens. I don't want to give up Trae. We like Trae. Dyson Daniels is super cool, right? Ricochet looks like he's going to be a guy. Jalen Johnson's young, and he was a borderline all-star at points this last season. I guess we'll see with Okongwu at center, and let's just see if we can't put together a little bit of a better team going into next year and try to compete, because the East isn't that great. Fair enough. I can't falter with that logic anyway. It's not like you have your draft picks really at this point anyway. The Spurs kind of run your life right now. I've already seen Spurs fans being like, yes, Hawks, I need you guys to lose this play-in. I need you to lose it. I don't think they personally will, but I'm curious. I'm very, very curious to see where they exactly go. But I did think like the trade deadline and stuff was really rough for this team. I wish they could have done a little bit better, but slightly above expectations where the Hawks fell. The Boston Celtics, B+. That feels fair, like, because what I really expected was like, yeah, this team's probably going to dominate people, but it's never going to have its foot on the gas completely, just because we never tend to see this team do that. But overall, they walked through the season, right? Things were going well. Did Drew Holiday have the greatest season ever? No. Jaylen Brown honestly had somewhat of a down year for his expectations, but if you're going into the playoffs healthy right now, that's really all that matters. It says, yes, the offense can overstagnate. Yep, totally agree. And sure, the shooting regression of Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday isn't great. I'm not tripping about it as of right now. It'll become a problem in the playoffs when it becomes a problem. And they are probably too reliant on old-ass Al Horford because, man, dude is still doing it out there, man. He's father prime. It's what he is. But I don't know. This is still my favorite to win the finals. As of right now, this team just has everything because with all that said, Peyton Pritchard has become like that dude, right? He is absolutely phenomenal for them. They still have a good bench. They have all the bigs in the world that they need to throw out in different situations. So I don't know. I'm not going to remake the wheel or anything with the Celtics. They're really, really good. The Brooklyn Nets, B+. This is interesting because there's probably two camps you can look at with this, right? There's the first that was like, yeah, this was obviously a year that you wanted to tear things down a little bit, right? You wanted to move the Dennis Schroeders, the Dorian Finney-Smiths, and you did that. Maybe you did it too late, though, and some people might say the Nets won too many games, and now they're not going to get a top pick to kind of jumpstart their rebuild because this is a really elite draft class, is what we're thinking, and they won too many games. But there's also something to be said about, like, okay, we maintained a certain amount of good players. Maybe we will get lucky in the lottery still. It seems like we have our coach for the future because we played our asses off every single night with not a great NBA roster. So there's pros and cons to this. I'd say B minus is where I would probably put them, because again, I think it would have been nice if they lost a few more games, but I also can't fault a team for winning, right? Winning basketball games is good for the culture and things like that. What are they saying? Do we reward them for overachieving out of the gate, the energy and experimentation they played with? Yeah, a little bit, right? They empowered and ensured Cam Johnson's efficiency. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. General Manager Sean Marks deserves credit for acting early on the trade market. Yeah, like, I didn't think any of the moves they made were bad. It just maybe could have happened a little bit earlier, so maybe they lose a couple more games. But again, I'm not going to fault a team for winning games. So I still think it was a good season for the Brooklyn Nets overall. Maybe the basketball gods will reward them in the lottery when this is all said and done. Charlotte Hornets C minus. I think I'd give it more of a D plus, honestly, and here's why. Right? I want to give a lot of credit, because we've done that a lot on this channel, a lot of credit to the Hornets, new front office. I think that is awesome what they're trying to do right now. There's a long road ahead of them, but we've seen the Hornets just kind of do nothing for the longest time and just make the worst decisions always. I feel like every time the Hornets have been involved since this new front office came into play, they've been trying to do the right things, and they've been very active, which I think is good. I think they're trying to really turn this team around. The Mark Williams situation happened this year. I have to imagine he's going to try to get moved this offseason, and injuries just continue to be a thing. The problem that they have is they've got this question with this superstar player in LaMelo Ball, who is really, really awesome. He's got some faults in his game that we haven't seen him improve on, and some of his lack of efficiency. He makes some bad decisions in games at times, right? But because this team's not really forcing him to grow in those areas either, I'm not sure how much I can fault him. And he's just hurt all the time, right? He's just hurt. So what do you do with him? Are you going to move him this offseason and kind of try to build things in your own image here in Charlotte, right? You think about the rookie they picked to John Salon. We all knew he was going to be really raw and not ready right away, so I'm not tripping about that whatsoever. You wish Brandon Miller wouldn't have gotten hurt too. Terrence Mann as well looked like, Trey Mann, not Terrence Mann. It looks like he's going to be a nice player, but again, he was hurt this year. So it sucks in that aspect, and they're going to have to pay a little bit in the Mark Williams debacle that happened, but I don't know. I don't know. I do have more hope in this team than I would have before, because they're traditionally one of the poverty franchises that just are never going to figure it out, right? But I guess we'll see. I'll be very curious to see what happens. Yeah, Grant Williams went down too. That was unfortunate. Trey Mann, Brandon Miller. Yeah, it's just no. Tijan Salon looks like the wrong pick at 6. No, you got to relax. And you weren't paying attention. We knew he was going to be a really raw prospect coming in. It made sense for them to swing for a little bit of upside, in my opinion. The Chicago Bulls, C. Yep, that's how I'd put every season for the Bulls. I'm a Bulls fan, for those of you that don't know. So this is always fun for me to talk about. By the way, word of the video right here. I always put a word of the video in to see who's actually watching and paying attention to this stuff. Just put playoffs somewhere in your comment, right? Maybe put it in all caps or something like that. That way I know you're a real one and you're really watching and paying attention to those things. So I'll respond to every single comment, and I do, but when I don't see the word of the video and I'm like, they weren't completely paying attention. This is supposed to be educational. Watch the video. But anyway, yeah, put playoffs somewhere. So my Chicago Bulls, oh, it's so painful, man. It's so painful. Yeah, look, just seize the whole year, right? I thought they got kind of taken advantage of in the trade market this season with the Zach LaVine thing. I don't need to go into that too much. You can go watch my video on it if you want my opinion on it. It hasn't changed whatsoever. It's great that Josh Giddey's good. I thought he was going to be good, so that's awesome. Kobe White's becoming a better scorer even. That's amazing. Buzelis is fun. I don't have a ton of when I say I don't have a ton of confidence, I'm not saying I don't think he's going to be a stud, but I hope I'm wrong about that. I'm rooting for the kid like crazy. Please know that I am a crazy fan at the end of the day, but I try to be objective with you guys here in the videos. It just feels like this group's going nowhere. They're going to get the 11th or 10th pick again, get someone that just becomes a role player for a couple of years that they'll end up trading at some point, and we're just going to be the 9 or 10 seed for forever. So That's what it feels like. There's no direction. It feels like with this group, they're just going to try to sell us on. I actually think they could come out of the play-in, which is the craziest thing because they are just such a fast-paced team that hits a lot of threes, and you can win little one-off games here and there. So I feel like they could get hot and do it. But like, if we make the playoffs or something, I feel like the front office is going to be like, look, Giddey, Kobe, and Buzelis, man, this is the future. Nobody fears this group like that. I love Giddey as a long-term piece. I really do. We got to get some option 1A and 1Bs on the team though. Like Giddey's supposed to be the facilitator, so I don't know. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. But they were fun this year. They were fun. The Cavaliers, yeah, absolutely an A. Kenny Atkinson came in because he's a great coach. We've all known he's a great coach for forever. He comes in and he makes everybody sing, man. Darius Garland had a nice bounce back year. Donovan Mitchell's still that dude. He unlocked Evan Mobley. Jared Allen is somehow like a fifth option on this team because they added DeAndre Hunter to the group. Ty Jerome really broke out. Karis LeVert was looking awesome, and then he got moved, right? They made everything work. They had so many long winning streaks this season. I know it was kind of faulty a little bit at the end of the year. I don't read into that stuff too much. You know, they're messing with lineups and stuff like that. It's just what happens at the end of the season for basketball teams. You have to imagine it's going to be them and maybe the Celtics in the conference finals, and I think that that'll be a really elite series because, man, this Cavs team is so deep. It's so deep. It's really cool. I'm sure they'd like one more big, but yeah, it's just been an A the whole season. They have just been absolutely running teams out of the gym. So shout out Cleveland. I'm not gonna dive into that one anymore. Okay. Here we go. Yep, here's the opposite side of the spectrum. This picture right here says everything. I wish it could be the one where like Nico Harrison was like kind of talking and then like Jason Kidd just looked like he wanted to die. He doesn't look like it completely here. But yeah, look at this. Quarter season B, mid-season B, 3/4 season F. Yeah. No, this is the worst regular season I've ever seen of any single team ever. I'm not going to hash it any more than I need to. You guys understand why. You've been following the news. If you're on this channel, you've been following enough basketball to know what happened with this team. I don't know what they're going to do this offseason. I do a series on this channel called Ideal Offseason. Where is it on here? Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. Here's Ideal Offseason right here. It's my biggest series on my channel. I'm getting ready to do it again this year. Basically, we go through the offseason and try to keep it really realistic and like try to figure out what teams should do to like what moves should they make, who should they be drafting. We do a bunch of fun stuff to be like, okay, this is what the team should look like next year. I have no idea what to do at Dallas, man. This team has just completely screwed itself out of everything, and yeah, so let's move on. The Denver Nuggets, D. Interesting for a team that won that many games, right? A quarter D, BBB. What the actual hell are we supposed to do here? I'm genuinely asking. That's fair. Recent developments shouldn't drag down the Denver Nuggets grade too much. But yeah, but with firing Coach Malone, which I don't agree with. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So, like, I can't give you a 100% opinion. If you have a 100% opinion on it, you're just a damn idiot. You should go look in the mirror and stop being such a dum-dum because you're like, oh, I think I know everything. I'm on Twitter and read the little rumors. Oh yeah. That's you people on Twitter, right? I can't be asked. Like, clearly something was going on behind the scenes. Everyone seems surprised by it. Like, I've talked to a couple people around this situation that are kind of like, yeah, no, we were not aware that something like that was going to happen. So fair enough. I think it's a weird situation regardless. I think trying to inspire a group of professionals by firing their coach before the playoffs is not exactly the way to do things, but I don't know. This team could still go on a run because Jokic is that good. Jamal Murray's really good. Michael Porter Jr. is really good. Christian Brown is a good player. Aaron Gordon's a good player. It gets a little bit questionable after you get past the first five, though. Like, we like Westbrook a lot, but seriously, like, after that, who's the next guy you really want to go to? I just don't know. I just truly don't know. So it's an interesting group. I think they're going to have a lot of questions to answer this offseason because of how they handled things. But I don't know. They're still a good group that are just a couple years removed from winning a championship. So I guess we'll see. I'd give them more of like... I guess for expectation purposes, yeah, it makes sense for them to be a D. So I guess that's fair. Okay, Detroit Pistons. Yep, we clap it up for Detroit every time we talk about them on this channel. We talked about it a ton this offseason. We're like, these are the moves they need to make to go and actually start winning games. We said, you need to win some games to win some games. And a lot of people were kind of confused when I was saying that, but I've actually gotten a couple comments by people being like, AVC, I like get what you're saying now. Like, you needed to go get enough players to start winning some basketball games, to give the young guys some confidence to start winning some basketball games, right? Get them motivated. Now all of a sudden Jalen Duren looks like a good player, right? It's like what I was telling you guys. They're like, no, I'm so sick of Jalen Duren, right? Well, Pistons fans, I know he still has his flaws and everything, but now all of a sudden you're like, okay, I kind of like Jalen Duren now. It's like, yeah, when you're not going to get your ass clapped every single night on national television, you actually might show up and want to play a little bit more, right? The team's fun, they're young. I don't know how well they're going to do in the playoffs, but they made the playoffs. That's what you had to do. And then guess what? They'll go into the offseason, they'll be like, yo, we made the playoffs and we're the youngest team there. Like, we're going to get better. We're going to bring Jaden Ivey back. Like, things are going to be good for us, right? Like, let's have a good offseason. Let's try to build a little bit at a time, right? Like, you don't need to rush it. Cade Cunningham's an absolute stud. He's the closest thing I think we have to Luka Doncic in this league, in all honesty. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We should be really happy about the Pistons. What a season. What a season for them for sure. Head coach JB Bickerstaff has extracted more defense out of this core than anyone could have foreseen. Yeah, I still have questions about like some of his lineup management. Like Malik Beasley's been like a huge part of this team, right? And it feels like he doesn't play enough. Like a lot of times he was playing Tim Hardaway Jr. more minutes, but recently that's been shifting. So very, very exciting. The Golden State Warriors, a B. That feels fair. I didn't have the Warriors doing this well, but they also didn't have Jimmy Butler to start the year, and I didn't think that something like that would actually happen. Jimmy Butler came in, really revitalized this team, right? The development of having a guy like a Quentin Post playing well for a little bit was a big deal for them. How much can you play him in the postseason? I don't know. I don't know about that one quite as much, but they're extending Steph Curry as much as they can, and I think that that's the best that they can honestly do. I don't know how I feel about the rest of the team. It's nice that Pods is starting to hit a little bit again. I guess we'll see if it continues. The Dennis Schroeder trade was weird this year. Like it's unfortunately one of those things because Pistons fans are seeing Schroeder and being like, oh yeah, no, we mess with Schroeder. Schroeder's cool. The Warriors just can't adapt their play style at all, and thankfully Jimmy Butler is just kind of a fit-all type of dude. But I don't know. I'll be really curious to see what happens. Like when Curry's gone, what does Steve Kerr do as a coach? I don't know. I'll have a lot of questions about that. But regardless, what a run they've had. I hope we can continue to see them in the playoffs. I hope they can make some noise in the playoffs. I thought they did as well as they could have. Really think they did. The Rockets, A+. Yeah, absolutely. Young group, played this well. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, this is a really young basketball team, y'all. They have way too many young guys on the team, but they made it happen because they went and got the right vets around them to point them in the right direction. They found a little bit of a defensive identity. Amen Thompson's awesome. Şengün's awesome. You got enough out of Jalen Green scoring-wise. Tari Eason's a lot of fun. We hope to see some development in like Reed Shepherd, Jabari Smith, right? Guys like that at some point. But overall, you got a nice team. You got a nice basketball team. I think there's going to be a lot of questions about them in the offseason or in the postseason just because do they really have that go-to score? Hard to say, right? Jalen Green's clearly the closest thing you have, but he's Jalen Green, right? So, I don't know. I think it's going to be difficult. I think in the postseason, they could have troubles when the game slows down a little bit. What do they do? But overall, you got a really good core. I think they're going to have an interesting offseason, though, because I do think they're one of those teams that have this predicament of like, okay, it feels like we got all the supporting pieces, but we never found option 1A, right? Which is kind of what's supposed to kickstart the rebuild, and you build around that. They kind of built around and never found the core, if you would. So are they going to go make a move for that? I know the Devin Booker, Kevin Durant stuff is real. Maybe you get a Booker, but I don't know. Regardless, they should be really proud of themselves. This is a young group that's going in a really good direction. Pacers, B+. Yeah, it was a scary start to the year when Tyrese Halliburton just looks like he couldn't move for a little bit there, but then Tyrese Halliburton got going, and he might just be an all-NBA player this season. So there you go. I still have a lot of questions about this team because they're playing their style of play, right? They get up and down the court very fast. Halliburton's run the show. Nembhard's playing defense. Miles Turner's awesome on both ends. Pascal Siakam is just phenomenal, right? He's just an awesome player day in and day out. I have so many questions about the wings on this team, whether it's Benedict Mathurin or Neesmith. I don't know. I kind of don't trust those players. You have, like, what are you doing with the Jarris Walker stuff? Are you going to keep him around? I take it most Pacers fans would probably say they're not that interested. Long term, what do you do with Obi Toppin? TJ McConnell doesn't even really play like that anymore. So it's a weird team. This feels like they're just going to be stuck in a slightly above average for a long time. But that tends to be kind of the Pacers' MO overall, doesn't it? Just always like above average. They're typically a really well-run organization, so they're kind of just always good. But are they really ever elite? Hard to say. hard to say. Clippers A plus, yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that because I didn't pick the Clippers to go this far either. But a lot of my prediction was I just think Kawhi's going to go down at some point. He's not going to come back, and I figured what the Clippers were doing was signing all these really good role players to really nice contracts. Was they were like, okay, Kawhi's going to go down at some point. When that happens and we're kind of falling out of things, we'll just trade all these really tradable players and kind of recoup our asset pile so that we can start our rebuild. But instead, Norman Powell became a stud. Ivica Zubac became a stud. Harden is still really good. Kawhi's back right now and playing some solid enough basketball. Doesn't look like the Kawhi of old, but still a good player. Chris Dunn should probably win Defensive Player of the Year because Wemby's gone, right? It'll probably go to Dyson Daniels most likely, but I feel like it should go to Chris Dunn, if not him or Alex Caruso. But they've put together a really elite basketball team that I think can make a little bit of noise come playoff time. So I guess we'll see. But is James Harden just going to do the thing that he always does in the playoffs where he kind of just ISOs the whole time and eventually teams figure out how to stop it? I don't know, but this is a really deep basketball team, and I feel like a lot of people are overlooking them, so watch out for the Clippers. Lakers, yeah, they got Luka Doncic. That's all that you need to say about them. This should be an A+ because they got Luka Doncic. Yep, you can see where the grades started to change a little bit here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what else happens at this point. I'll continue to say that. You can say, like, oh, they're going to have question marks going into this season. Guys, the questions that they're asking this offseason are so much better than what they would have been asking if they didn't have Luka Doncic. Because here's the thing, now they've got like 10, 12 years of being contenders again. It's amazing. It's so cool to see Austin Reeves be the perfect secondary ball handler. LeBron doesn't have to have the ball anymore. Hachimura looks good. Finney-Smith looks good. Jackson Hayes is playing solid basketball somehow now, and it's mostly just because of Luka, and Luka makes any like bouncy center playable. I do think they're going to have problems in the playoffs because I don't think they'll have enough ball handlers. They could use some more help at the point guard spot, that's for sure. Yes, they need more big man help, but they're at where they're at. They have assets moving forward. I think they're in an okay spot. They found their coach in JJ Redick, so I feel good about the Lakers. Memphis Grizzlies D+. Yeah, I would feel like that. I feel like that's fair. We kind of assumed the Grizzlies would steamroll a little bit more than they did this year. I mean, they have a good record, but they're the 8th seed, I believe. They fired their coach, which was kind of weird. Maybe they were underperforming a little bit, but it's kind of a weird situation. I think the biggest thing is the Ja stuff. Right? Like, I feel like we're starting to ask ourselves, like, I'd be curious to hear as a Grizzlies fan kind of what you're thinking. Are you still feeling a little bit delusional? Because if you're not worried about him, you probably should be. And here's what I'm saying. Because Ja has played some really good basketball at the end of this season, right? He's starting to look like Ja Morant a little bit more. He's still not better at a lot of the things that he needs to get better at, and he's been unavailable so much this season, right? And some of the antics that you see out of him, those just have to worry you a little bit, because as objectively funny as I find all the stuff that he does, because it is just hilarious what he's doing, if you're the coach, man, I would hate dealing with that. It's immature, it's stupid. He's not making a statement at all. It's literally just stupid, but because it's so stupid, it is just really funny. It's so funny. Jaren Jackson Jr. looks awesome. You've got so much depth on this team. There's no way this team shouldn't have Kevin Durant next season. There is no way they shouldn't. They've needed a wing for like 4-5 years. This front office can never make the right like trades, it feels like, to bring people in, because they've needed that wing for forever. They've got the assets to go get him and keep their core. Somehow end up with Kevin Durant, please. That's just what needs to happen. I don't know. Jalen Wells obviously going down, being injured sucks. They've got a lot of interesting young players. I really hope teams go after Gigi Jackson this year because he doesn't deserve to be buried on this team. So, yeah, I don't know. Miami Heat D+. Yeah, the Jimmy Butler situation sucked. Tyler Hero became an all-star, but still kind of has a lot of the same problems that he had before, where it's like he's still not a great playmaker. Some of the finishing at the rim is a little bit questionable at times, but he's a really good player. Bam's awesome, as we all expected. Khalil Ware looks like he's going to be a dude. Remember when he got drafted and we said, God damn it, Miami Heat. Like, this is the guy that we all said, yeah, he's going to be a project, but whoever gets him, like, if they figure him out correctly, he's going to be a nice starter for them. And then he's already, like, a nice player for them. And he doesn't even have a point guard to help him set up his shot or anything. Good for the Miami Heat. They talked about stuff here. The silver linings. Yeah, Tyler Hero's awesome. Khalil Ware's awesome. Bam Adebayo's defense is still really, really good. Yeah, no, you've got these three. You need some guards on the team that can actually handle the basketball and distribute. If they ended up with like a Yaku Chonis in the draft somehow, because I've seen his draft stock falling a ton, I think that would be absolutely disgusting. And then you would see me in like a draft like reaction video be like, damn you, Miami Heat. Again, you guys just always pick the right guy. You just always always do. So I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a D plus though. The Jimmy Butler situation sucked. What direction are they going forward with? They're probably just gonna do what the Heat always do, man. They're just gonna keep trying to win. Keep trying to win. I don't know if they come into the play-in. They've got good players, and Spoelstra with time to prepare is always good, but I don't know. It's not a great team. It's not a great team. Milwaukee Bucks, C-. That feels appropriate. They had so many good points this year, and they had so many bad points as well. But with Dame just being down and concerns about him, right? Kyle Kuzma hasn't looked great for you guys. Kevin Porter Jr. is good. But here's the thing. NBA fans, we always knew Kevin Porter Jr. is good. The dude is just actually crazy. Like, he is actually not a sane person. I've known plenty of people very, very close to him, and they're like, not an okay dude. Like, he's just mentally unwell, but dude is so good, and that's why he's still around. So glad that he's playing well. I'd love to see him go off in the playoffs. Like, I want the best for him. I really, really do. But, yeah, there's just so much going on this season. I don't know. The Bobby Portis thing was weird, too. He's been playing good again, though. So, I don't know. Are they going to make it out of the first round with just Giannis? Hard to say. They've got championship level dudes around them, but it's hard to say. Let's just keep letting AJ Green shoot every single three in the world. That's what I'm saying. Timberwolves, C-. Yeah, I'd say so, and you have to remember, the Cat trade was like right before the season started, right? So like we had much different expectations for this group coming in. We said that they had such an elite offseason. They went and brought in the right vets. We thought they had a really good draft and everything, and then they went and traded Cat for Julius Randle, and we were like, ooh, I don't know about that. We get the business side of it, but man, I don't know. I feel like this team's just never ever been good. Probably want to keep Cat around, right, to try to keep things going. We've all seen how good Cat is now in a new system. I don't know. It's a weird group. I think this team can definitely make some noise come playoff time because they have a lot of good talent on the team. But yeah, overall, slightly below expectations just because, look, they were really close to the finals last year, and they're going to have to fight to really get back there this year, and I do think they're a little bit worse than last year, so I don't know. Hopefully they have some flexibility to make some good moves this offseason. Maybe they'll end up with Kevin Durant. Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant on one team would be absolutely disgusting. That'd be super cool. Pelicans, C-. That feels fair. We kind of figured that it was just going to be, okay, how healthy will this team be? And then they were the least healthy team I've ever seen in my life this season. And so can you really hate them that much? Like, literally, like, everyone was hurt. We all saw that one lineup they threw out where they just pulled Elfrid Payton off the street, and he was ending up with, like, 1 point and, like, 14 assists every game. It was kind of crazy. There's an ambulance going by. Man, I hate when that happens. I don't like to have to make cuts in my videos. I want to do 5 minutes of editing on my videos, not 6. That's what I want to do for my YouTube videos. But the good news is, Yves Missy is exactly what you thought he would be. That's cool. Zion Williamson is still one of the best players in basketball when healthy, and he had a healthy end of the season. I know they shut him down, but they shut him down, right? There was no point in playing him at that point. So resting him, he still looks really, really good. Try again next year. I thought the Brandon Ingram trade was good enough. I wish they would have done it a little bit sooner. I feel like they could have gotten more for it, but, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll get some lottery luck and end up with a good player to put around Zion, and maybe we can finally get this thing going in New Orleans. But seriously, fire the trainers. Get rid of them. Everybody got hurt. It's crazy. I don't know what they're eating down there, but it's nuts. Knicks, B-. That feels appropriate. We thought they'd be a little more dominant than they were this year. They certainly had some low points. They had some injuries. This team just isn't very deep. They play these guys so many minutes. I don't know. I'm curious to see that. There's an argument to drop them to the C, their offseason activity specifically, adding Mikal Bridges, trade demands, blah, 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 blah. New York falls short in that arena, 6-15 against opponents with a top 10 net rating. Yeah, they didn't beat Boston or Cleveland once this year. Yeah, that's scary. But it's a good group that plays hard, so anything could happen in the playoffs, right? But B- feels fair. I think they made the most out of a not great situation with some of the injuries they had and such, especially for just having one of the worst defensive centers ever. They got one of the best offensive centers ever at the same time. So what a weird season they had. I don't really know what else to say about the Knicks, but they can make some noise. They always can. Thunder, A+. Yeah, I don't have to explain this to you. They've got like 11 good players. They have like 8 different starting lineups that they go to, and all of them are dominant. J-Dub is like finally the all-star player that I kind of figured he could be. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is amazing. Probably going to win MVP, even though it should go to Jokic. Chet and Hartenstein, wow, that was perfect. Absolutely perfect. The Caruso trade was a win-win for them. I know there's been the people that are like, oh, did the Thunder make a mistake by trading Josh Giddey? No, you dummies. You absolute dumb idiots. Like, no, both players ended up in a better situation for them. So it's just, it's for the best. Can't wait to see this team in the playoffs. It's a young group that should be fun. We'll see what they end up doing. The Magic, D+. Yeah, that feels appropriate. I know, I think I was a little more spot on with how the season would go for the Magic, just because I looked at this and I'm like, the Kentavious Caldwell-Pope thing seems dumb to me. This is not the type of player you add at this point in kind of your rebuild. You need someone that can actually go get some buckets on this team, right? We saw that happened, right? Obviously, Suggs went down. That sucked. Banchero was down for a large part of the season. Franz was down for a large part this season. And they've had good moments, right? Both of them, I think, are really good players. I don't think they complement each other very well, and that makes building the rest of the team difficult, but the Magic have not helped themselves at all by doing this inbreeding of like, okay, we have to keep getting players like them. It's like, no, stop. Go get some complementary players, right? You really need to. You really need to. The center spot's always going to be the hardest to fill. The point guard should have been really easy, and they just didn't do it this year for whatever reason. I can't really figure out why, but I don't know. Normalize being harder on the Orlando Magic. It may be tough to stomach, but it's a sign of respect. That's what I'm saying. Like, this team just should have been better this year, but the front office let this team down. I have nothing against the players. I love how hard the team played. This front office just let them down this season. It should have been more of a step forward than it was. This was kind of a step back year. The good news is Franz is really good. Bad news is he can't shoot. Good news is Paolo's really good, but he's a little bit dumb still. But he's young, so who cares? Suggs, I like Suggs, but we need to get him somebody to play point guard so he can play the two. We got to get a scoring point guard around him that can pass the ball a little bit as well. I don't care if it's Sexton, Kobe White, or who's the other guy I was going to say? Anthony Simons. I just don't care. Find somebody that can go get a bucket, please. Please. The Sixers, how is this not an F? Like, this should be an F. Like, maybe your expectations were different for this team, and maybe you're excited because Quentin Grimes looks like he's going to be a good player, but I don't know. This doesn't make sense to me. Like, this was a complete disaster of a year. Like, Embiid's down. You have so many questions about him. Paul George is down. You have questions about him. Hopefully Maxey and Jared McCain are going to be a really nice backcourt for the future. Maybe you get lucky in the lottery and you've got kind of permission to tear this team down a little bit, but they're saying they're going to bring the team back, which I think is the right decision, by the way. Like, you just didn't get to see this group together and there's no reason to blow it up already, so try again next year. But yeah, this season was just hard to watch. Discovering Justin Edwards was good. I'd give him that. Bona looks like he'll be a nice player. Agree with that. McCain, good. Acquiring Quentin Grimes. Yeah, hopefully you bring him back. Don't be surprised if like the Nets or something try to go steal that motherfucker. I could see that for sure. This grade must still reflect on the expectations missed. We thought they were going to be a good team this year, and they just weren't. The Phoenix Suns, F-. Oh my gosh, yeah. So remember when I was talking about ideal offseason? To do an ideal offseason video, they have to be clearly in their offseason, right? Is kind of what I'm saying. They need to know where they're picking in the draft and everything, which a lot of that can't happen until after the lottery. Their season has to be over, and this is the team that both didn't make the playoffs and has no lottery picks. They are in the worst position ever. Look, they're going to trade Kevin Durant, and they're going to get a bunch of stuff back for Kevin Durant, right? Because he's a good basketball player, so they'll get some assets back for that. Maybe they just waive Bradley Beal. Maybe they do a buyout of him somehow. I don't know why Bradley Beal would want to stick around, and I don't know why you'd trade him. Honestly, if I'm like Detroit, though, I'm picking up the phone for a Bradley Beal deal because you have to pay somebody, right? And Bradley Beal can help you out right now because, as I say on the channel all the time, if you think Bradley Beal's a bad basketball player, you're actually dumb. Like, just go look at any numbers, watch him play. Like, dude's a really good basketball player still. Like, is he a little overpaid? Yes, we understand. He's a little bit overpaid. Dude could still hoop, though. So put him on a team that's growing right now. You get that veteran presence and a guy that can go get some buckets that doesn't always need the basketball. Great. Cool. Go do it there. But yeah, this team's in a shitty position, man. I don't even think I can blame the general manager or like the front office or anything. I think they tried their best. You can maybe say like, hey, you swung really hard and you missed, but at least they swung really hard, right? Like I do want to give them credit for that. It's just sometimes you miss when that happens, and this time it missed. It feels like we never really got to see the big three really work together. I feel like the front office did everything to try to support this three. It didn't work. If we can criticize them for one thing though, and what we always say is they never hired the right coaches during this time. Never. Budenholzer was not the answer. He was not. You should have gotten someone a little more creative or whatever. I don't like this idea of just recycling these coaches that keep getting bounced around from like okay basketball teams. And you're like, oh, this guy can manage the personalities of like the stars. I think that's the dumbest shit in the world. Like, I don't know why teams would respect someone anymore and they just got fired from their other team. It doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, bad season for the Suns. Bad season. Trailblazers, B+. This feels fair. While I think we should be disappointed that they didn't make a lot of the moves that they should have this year, we should be really excited that, like, look, Denny was really good. It made perfect sense to go get Denny. Denny's awesome. Scoot Henderson, you're seeing it, right? Like, it's there. So let's try to draw it out, right? Shaden Sharp, you're starting to see a little bit out of him. Klingon looks like he's going to be the starting center for the future. Kamara looks like he's going to be a nice player. Just get him on the basketball court now going forward. We had an interesting end of the season. Hopefully heading in the right direction. Who are they going to pick this year in the draft? I don't know. This could be a good time for them to maybe package some things together along with like some of their other guys like Ayton or Rob Williams. I know Rob Williams will be hard to trade. Anthony Simons, right? Get some of these guys off the team. Let the young guys go, right? Let the young guys go. So B+ for Portland feels fair. It feels fair. They'll have a weird offseason for sure. Sacramento Kings a D. Yeah, that's fair. It's not an F because I think the Kings did as much as they could. I thought firing the coach was a mistake. I didn't think that made any sense. Like, I didn't think what Mike Brown was doing was bad. I just felt like his team just couldn't make shots. Kings fans, like, chime in a little bit. I won't say that, like, the Kings are definitely lower on my list for teams that I watch in terms of frequency. But, like, I felt like every time I watched them, they were kind of doing the right things. It's just shots were not falling. I don't think bringing in DeMar DeRozan was necessarily a bad thing. It looks weird now, right? Because De'Aaron Fox happened. I thought they handled the Fox situation as well as they could have. Bringing in Levine is interesting. They've got all these, like, good basketball players. They just don't fit together, right? I wish Keegan Murray was getting a little better. For whatever reason, every coach just refuses to play Keon Ellis. He must be just like really annoying off the court or something because I don't know why the teams won't play him more. Everything says that he should be on the basketball court more. So this is a weird team that's in a middle position. I feel so bad for Zach LaVine. Can we just get Zach LaVine on a good basketball team, please? I just want to see it, right? I just want to see it. So, I don't know. The Kings, you're going to have a really weird offseason. Installing Doug Christie as an interim head coach originally looked like it might galvanize the team. That's half true. Blah, 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 blah. But we've seen noticeably more Keon Ellis. Yeah, it's more, but it's still not enough. Play him more. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they do going forward. The Spurs, B-. Yeah, that's probably fair. Just because of the Wemby stuff, right? That's scary and that sucks. I know a lot of people wanted them to be in the play-in this year. I wasn't sure about that. Like, I pegged them for playing because I'm like, yes, they could. Wemby goes down, they had no chance, right? No chance whatsoever. The Fox trade happens. Cool. They absolutely won that trade. It was really easy for them to do so. They didn't mess it up. Cool. Stephon Castle looks interesting. I've said a lot on the channel. I don't know how the pieces on this team fit together. I don't know how Fox, Wemby, like Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, I don't know how to fit that together in my brain and make something good. I don't much care either because, like, you can always move things around. At the end of the day, I like Wemby. He's awesome. He's going to make things easy for people. They have a ton of assets going forward. They're in a good spot, right? And you guys have to be patient, right? Like, Wemby doesn't need to be winning championships now. Like, Jason Tatum has been good since he got in the league, and he just won a championship last year, right? And, like, that's even presumably a little ahead of schedule compared to most people. I know our culture nowadays is very fast-moving. We want results instantly, but it takes a lot of time to win these championships. So we've got years before Wemby's probably going to be winning these things, and feels like it's going to happen eventually, but give it time. We got to build this team the right way. I'm glad they're not rushing it too much. I'm curious to see where they go going forward. Hope Wemby's okay. Raptors C+. Yeah, that feels about right. I don't feel like we learned anything about this group. Quickly still who we thought he was. Barrett still who we thought he was. Scotty Barnes he's Scotty Barnes, man. He's a weird dude. I know everybody wants Mahalo watch this offseason. Makes a lot of sense. Could use a nice big lob threat center on this team. You've got Brandon Ingram on the squad now. We'll see what happens with the all-length team that Toronto's trying to build again. How many times are they going to try to build teams like this? I don't know, but it's kind of funny. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the long-term vision for this team is. Like, does this core really feel like it's going to win something? Not really, but it seems like you're committing to it. So very curious, but if everybody's healthy next year, they should be a solid team. There's no reason they can't beat some of the other teams out in the East. So Yeah, what do they do this offseason? You guys let me know. The Utah Jazz, see? Yeah, right within expectations, right? We expected them to be bad and to play their young guys, aka these guys, a bunch, and that's what they did, right? Some people are like, oh, Lauri Markkanen had a down season. Okay, watch the season, right? Like they didn't play Lauri Markkanen very many minutes. Like the Jazz were never trying to be like true contenders or anything this year, or try to win like a ton of games, but you know, they went out, started the year as they always do, try to win some basketball games. They got some solid players on the team. John Collins and Colin Sexton looked good again. Cool. Walker Kessler looked awesome this year. Lauri Markkanen, they just didn't put him out there as much because they weren't trying to win basketball games. So I think this team's in a good spot. Hopefully they're rewarded in the lottery. I don't know. Cody Williams is scary. Isaiah Collier also scary, but he's interesting. Filipowski should be interesting. I don't feel great about these two long term, but hey, why not? Why not just keep rolling them out? Keontae George is so fun on offense, but so brutal on defense. But the rebuild starts now for this team, right? It starts now. And then Wizards, C+. Yeah, that feels appropriate, right? We knew this team was going to suck, and they sucked, right? You threw a bunch of rookies out there with Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. It wasn't going to be great. It was really hard for guys like Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George, and Alex Sarr, right? But the end of the season came. You got rid of Kuzma. You brought some vets in. They started to look okay in March and April, which again, March and April are never real, right? We kind of understand that. It's kind of its own thing in the NBA where there's basically G League teams being thrown out there a decent chunk of the time. Players aren't being scouted anymore, yada, yada. I've talked about it. But still, it's growth, right? They did play well, which is good. Sarr looks like he's going to be an awesome defender. Bub Carrington ended the season on a game winner. That's an awesome way to end the season. That makes me so happy for him. Like, that's a great way to go into the offseason and be, all right, next year. Like, yeah, I'm on the Wizards. That fucking sucks. Everything internally in our organization is a mess. I can tell you that for certainty. I have a lot of little birdies in there. It's a mess in there. And that you wonder why this team always sucks. But hey, hopefully they're heading in a better direction. Hopefully the lottery luck is good for them. I know for a fact that all the players at the top of the lottery are like, oh no, I really don't want to go to Washington. I'm sorry, Washington fans. It's kind of where you guys are, but hopefully you guys turn a corner soon. I really, really hope that for you guys. But yeah, going into next season, hope the young guys can get better. So a C+ feels appropriate just because they started to get a little bit better at the end. Maybe they'll have like a little bit of a rise at the end of next season because I still don't think they're going to be really good next year. I think they're going to be bad again next year, but you want to keep building through the draft and stuff. So those are the grades, y'all. Those are the grades. Always fun to kind of recap the season in that way. I think it's a lot of fun, but seriously, appreciate you guys as always, and let's move on to the comments of the video. All right, y'all, comment of the video is coming from each NBA team's end of year awards. Please go give that video a watch. Go give the Do They Fit in the NBA videos a watch too. They're my favorite to do on the channel. I know I keep harping on it, but I want them to get good views, and they're always demonetized, so I want them to have a little bit extra publicity. But anyway, the comment of the video comes from I don't know, 5124 said John Morant's going to bring out the rocket launcher celly when they defeat the Warriors. Yeah, that was a joke that I was kind of making in this video here. I'm like, I can't imagine what Ja's going to bring out next. I can't wait to see it because, again, it's objectively hilarious, but I don't know, man. I don't know what to do with that guy. Clearly, I have a lot of comments to respond to here, but hey, seriously, go leave me a comment because I will respond to all of them. Maybe you'll be the comment to the video, and please go join the Discord. It's in the description right here. Why haven't you joined the Discord? It's NBA playoffs time. Don't you want to be talking with people live during this? By the way, in the next week or two, probably going to try to do a test live stream, and you'll get to hear about it on the Discord because I want to start doing a couple live things on the channel, and I'm going to test it while I've got some family overseas. But seriously, I appreciate you guys as always, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great week. Thanks so much. Bye.